Listen to me, motherfucker. I'm talking. I say horrible things sometimes because I think they're funny. My podcast is a verbal mosh pit because it's just me pinwheeling around. You don't know where the fuck I'm going to wind up, and I generally have no idea when it's going to end or start. I'm responsible for this whole goddamn thing. I want a little respect from you people. Hey, what's happening? Mike Schmidt, 40-year-old boy podcast. I made Lily hold her point. She's a point holder, which is tough for her. She got a bad knee, folks. I don't know if you know how hard it is to hold a point with a bad knee. I just got hit. Did you hear that? I got hit with a goddamn pad of paper that says episode 9, year 3, and it's completely blank because there is no brilliance yet to fill up the page. There are no possible titles yet that will fill it up because, as we all know, the title comes later in the show. What if we named it that? Let's name the show. The title comes later in the show, and then boom, you folks don't even have to worry about it. The title has been revealed. It has been dumped right in your lap right in the beginning. Folks, let me tell you this. I have herpes. I don't know how it happened. I don't know where I got it from, and I don't know when it arrived, but I have a thing in my mouth that will not go away, and it hurts to talk. See it in the corner of my mouth? Like a little cold sore? But it's not going anywhere. That's what's fucking freaking me out. I've had it now for about a week, and I put Carmex on it with a trowel. I mean, I sit there and spackle my fucking face. I'm like, to the point where my face looks laminated. I look like I look like I'm wearing one of those rubber band Halloween masks of myself. That's how much Carmex I'm putting on my head. I have the shiniest face in the business, but it's not helping. It hurts more and more. Probably because I keep eating wide food. I got to stop doing that. I need to stop eating tall food. I need to start sucking stuff through a straw. God damn it, and then that's going to work out. Then my herpes will clear up at that point if I start sucking up smoothies, right? Because then I'm getting a nice injection, a fruit injection, and then vitamins will burst in there and wreak havoc and fix my face. I think that's how they work. I'm not sure how vitamins work. Vitamins, they get in your body and then they all meet in Vitamin Central and boom, they scatter and take care of business. They get in their V-team van. They're like, vitamins are like the A-team of your body. They're like the V-team, and then they will all get into your body and they will meet in the central location, hop into the V-team van, and boom, Murdoch and Face will go up and fix your cold sore. That's how it works. Murdoch E and Face A, and vitamin B-A Baracus. Ha ha! Vitamin B12 Baracus. God damn it, I just thought of that. Holy shit, am I hysterical. I sat here for an hour ago and I got nothing. I just made up the goddamn vitamin B team, A team, V team. Holy shit, am I hilarious. Because in my head I went Face A and Murdoch E, and then I went, oh my god, vitamin B12 Baracus. God damn it. Folks, I am a walking triumph. God damn it, I'm great. It's so funny. And look, we all like ourselves to a certain extent, and we all think we have the confidence in each other that we can go ahead and accomplish the things that we want to accomplish. But when you sit here staring at a notepad with nothing, because I did nothing this week, folks. I had a week. I had a bad week, but it's unfortunately it's a bad week I can't talk about because it doesn't. I can talk about some parts of the bad week. Other than the herpes that are now presently attacking my face and carving up the corner of my, I can't even explain it. I almost want to take a picture of it. Like, that's not, because I even Googled herpes again, because we all know the internet is my doctor. So I immediately went and Googled herpes, but how would I get it? I mean, there's like no way, unless I caught it, there's no airborne herpes. Unless I caught it from a pancake over at your joint. I went for pancakes with Lily, but it was before then. But yeah, I got to stop eating food that makes you open your mouth. That's the thing. I got to... I need a food patch. You know how they have like a nicotine patch? I need a patch that just dispenses gravy into my bloodstream and keeps me upright. I need a gravy patch. I need just like a protein thing. Like you put it on your arm and it feeds chicken right into your bloodstream. That's what I need. It's just, you get the protein, you get the V-team in there, the vitamins, and then you're rocking. Because I can't open my mouth. I can barely open my mouth to talk right now. Every time it's just, it hurts, dude. And then you get in that vicious cycle where your tongue is so close, and you're like, well, I'm kind of like, I might have a dog mouth. They lick sores, right? Aren't dogs supposed to lick sores and it heals them? So then I start, lapping away at the corner of my mouth, and then I look like a mental patient and I'm fucking public, and people are like, look at the guy with the herpes and the long tongue. I mean, it's like... Although I don't have a long tongue. I wish I did. I wish, I would love a Gene Simmons tongue. Like, who did I just see who has a Gene Simmons tongue? There's like a chick wrestler. And again, people, these mild celebrities that I don't care about until all of a sudden I see that she's got like a fucking 5-inch tongue, and I'm like, hey, I'm interested in her career. Could not be less interested in her as a wrestler. Maria Kanellis, is that her name? Maria. I think so. I hit you. I got you back. I hit you with a notepad.
Mine's bigger.
Believe me, not the first or last time I'll hear that. Folks, Lily Von Stupp is here. She's our hostess and producer.
Hostess of the show.
Yeah, you're taking care of everything. All right. She does not have herpes, thank God, which is actually good because if I have it, I don't want Lily to have it. Because that's going to open up some weird can of worms and go, oh, I see what happened. Although part of me hopes that you have it because I chewed on a pen here and I got it from you guys.
Hit it that way.
I don't know. That's true. That's not what the internet said. The internet's because there's obviously there's fucking cock herpes and then there's mouth herpes. You know what I mean? And they look very different. I can tell you that because one of them has a cock involved. I mean, that really, I'll tell you what, genital herpes really looks different than oral herpes because quite frankly there's a penis involved and that changes the scope and complexion of your oral herpes. What if your oral herpes was so bad you had a cock growing out of it? I mean, then you'd be like, Jesus Christ, that's compound herpes. That's the double down of herpes. That's what that is. That's herpes with fucking cheese and bacon if you got a fucking cock growing out of your face. All right. I ate that thing, by the way. I ate that double down. I told Lily already. She knows. And I told the masses, people that follow me on Twitter, all 900 of you, you know that I had the double down sandwich. What I did was I went last week, and Karen wanted to go. Go.
Did you talk about this?
Did I talk about eating the double down? I know I talked about Domino's.
Yeah, you talked about that. No, you didn't.
Yeah, I didn't talk about the double down. I Twittered it because it was that night.
You talked about the aborted trying.
Yeah, I went. Sure, I went once, but then once I told Karen about it, she was like, well, then we got to go. God forbid, Karen, she should be, the voice of reason. But instead, fuck that. She's Watson. You know what I mean? She's like, yeah, let's do it, Sherlock. Boom, let's hop in the car. Let's go and go out to the moors and have a fucking greasy sandwich. So I went and I got the double down sandwich and we walked in and we went at like at 7 o'clock again. I didn't want it to be closing time because I didn't want it to be horrible, grease laden. Who am I kidding? It's going to be horrible grease laden food anyway, but I wanted to make sure that I got it fresh. So which makes all the difference, folks. And now that I think about it, right around then is when my fucking mouth started hurting. Like. Maybe I got chicken herpes or something. That would be awful because they don't. Come on, chickens. They don't discern who they're banging, right? How can they? The colonel keeps them cooped up in a fucking suitcase. I talked about that on another show. Right? Like, yeah, you're in a chicken suitcase. God, when was that one? Jesus Christ. By year 2, folks. And I'll get into that. But yeah, we went and got the double down sandwich. We walked in and we ordered it. And I went to the counter. And I said to Karen, I go, you want a double down sandwich? And she said, no. Even though we left the house, she goes, let's go try it. And I said, all right, well, let's go try it. And then I thought she was going to get, because I thought she was going to get the real one with the sauce, the bacon, the cheese, and all that accoutrement. And it's not even bacon. It's faking. Can we be honest with ourselves? That's not bacon. It's faking. Whenever you get bacon somewhere, unless you can see them cook it on the stove, it's faking. Because I go to a place called Dan Subs, and I'll get to that too in a second. But there's a place called Dan Subs in Woodland Hills, and they make great subs, man. Really, really good sub sandwiches. But I keep forgetting. I'll get the Dan's Club sub, and I keep forgetting there's bacon on it. And I never want it because it's faking. It's not bacon. It's that weird. You know what it tastes like? This is going to sound. Folks, brace yourselves. Seriously, sit down if you're not sitting down. Bacon. When you get bacon on a sub sandwich, when it's that cold bacon that they store and then they put it on your sandwich, it tastes like a scab.
No.
Remember when you were a kid and you would like tear a scab off and like chew it? I did that, folks, occasionally. I'm done with it. We're done. But it would be like that. You know what I mean? Just that weird, same texture and that same mouthfeel. All right. But you know what I'm talking about. See, so you're not crazy. I'm not crazy. Like when you were a little kid, you did
I never did it.
Okay, well I did. You would get like a scab on your hand. You you gnaw on it and you rip it off because you're like a dog. You know what? I'm praying that this herpes doesn't scab over because then I'll have to fucking bite it off of there. Ha ha! This is a disgusting show, and still none of this is disgusting as the chicken sandwich I'm about to mention. All right. So Karen, I said to her, "You can order the double down," and she's like, "No." I said, "What do you mean? Why are we even here then? What's the point?" She goes, "Well, I thought you wanted to try it." And also, my wife loves KFC. That's her deal. She loves KFC. It's one of those childhood, I love it, type of deals. So I said, "Okay, well, what do you want then?" My wife orders chicken strips. dude, if you're a KFC, don't you want original recipe chicken? Like that's the whole point of going. Why would you want? You can get chicken strips fucking anywhere, and it's just a pile of garbage and breaded garbage. But that's what she got, man. She got that, and she got her side dishes. It's also you want to get the mashed potatoes and gravies, whatever. So I ordered all of Karen's stuff, and I look at the woman and I go, okay, I want a double down sandwich. She goes, okay, great, and she rings it up, and I go, but I want it plain. She goes, what do you mean plain? I said, no, I don't want anything on it. She goes, well, no, it is plain. There's no bun. And I said, no, I mean I want it plain. And she goes, you just want the chicken? And I said, yeah. She goes, okay. She goes to ring it up, and I go, yeah, and I need an individual side of mashed potatoes and gravy. And she goes, all right. So she goes, all right. So she rings it up, chicken strips, and Karen had coleslaw, mashed potatoes, and gravy. She goes, and you want a double down sandwich, but plain with nothing on it, but you want a side of mashed potatoes and her face, as she's ringing it up, she goes, all right, double down, because she was puzzled. Double down, and then all of a sudden she stops as she's ringing it up, and she looks up at me and goes, you're going to put the potatoes on the chicken, aren't you? like she solved the puzzle, because she was so excited because she couldn't figure out what my game was. But she's ringing it up. She's like, all right, chicken strips, and then a coleslaw, and Karen wanted a Dr. Pepper, and then 2 apple pies. Karen wanted turnovers, and then you want a double down sandwich plain, and you want a side of mashed potatoes. And looks up at me. You're going to put the mashed potatoes on the chicken, aren't you? I said, yeah, I am. She goes, nods to herself, kind of like you can see her almost pensive, like she hasn't been confronted with this before, and she just kind of nods and goes, that actually sounds pretty good. And she's like skinny. She's like believe me, she works there, so she's got to be disgusted by the smell and the thought of chicken. But the very fact that that's when I knew I was onto something. I'm like, there's just to make someone who works there go a tiny little slip of a woman, like really skinny little, and she just goes, that actually sounds pretty good. I'm like, yeah. So it was all fucking steaming hot, and we got it home. I put it on a plate, open the chicken up, and I took a butter knife and I spread mashed potatoes and gravy in the center of it. I should have taken a picture of it. People wanted a picture of it later. And then, I'll get to that in a second. But and then I folded it up and we went in the living room. And then Karen got her sandwich, or she got her chicken strips. And she sat down, and I sat down with my sandwich, and I bit into this thing. And and this is exactly what I twittered. I am a diabolical fat genius. Folks, I bit into it, and it was what I would order for my last meal if I was in jail. I said that before about a pastrami and potato pancake sandwich, but honestly, the double down with the mashed potatoes and gravy, because it was hot and it was big, and the thing is, I was talking to Lily about it. We've talked about it before. You usually, when you go there anyway, if you get the mashed potatoes and gravy, I will take my chicken breast and run it through the mashed potatoes and gravy and take a bite out of it. You know what I mean? Or a chicken leg and put that in there. And almost like, it's like when you go to Wendy's and you dunk your fries in your Frosty. I mean, it's just something you've always done. And if you haven't done it, hang up. Hang up, we're on the phone. If you haven't done it, hit pause, run to Wendy's and get a Frosty and fries. Salty fries and a fucking Frosty. Oh my Christ. Yeah, it is. It's sex in a cup. It's got the salt, and I can't eat. It's funny, I can't eat salty because of my herpes. Terrible. It's so bad. But yeah, that's what gave my face I think maybe that's what did it to my face. But I was eating this thing, and I gave Karen a bite, and she just looked at me, and she wasn't as overwhelmed as I was, because I had tears in my eyes. No, that seems like extravagant, quite frankly. But I was, and I recognize that I've now spent 3 weeks talking about a sandwich. I mean, and I'm a guy who talks about sandwiches anyway. But I mean, this was the holy grail of sandwiches. I mean, the fact that they even invented it, and then I was able to make it, and I made it my way, dude. I'm serious. I really believe that if the people at KFC tasted it, they would put it on the menu like that. Because fuck cheese and fuck bacon and fuck the Colonel sauce. I'm telling you, if you put just mashed potatoes and gravy inside the oh my God, it's a portable chicken meal. It's so good. A PCM. That's right. Portable chicken meal. Everything you could possibly want. It's like, because they got those bowls where they fill those full of everything, and Patton talked about. And by the way, can we all just stop stealing Patton Oswalt's material? Is that possible? I feel bad even crediting him a couple weeks ago for the Black Angus bit. I should not even mention him in it because he's just he got. If you don't know, Patton Oswalt had his material stolen by a guy who wound up doing a gig in Iowa, and then someone filmed it and put it on YouTube. And the guy he was basically doing he did all Louis C.K.'s material and a bunch of Patton's material, and then he said that he wrote that material. Then it turned into a thing. The Huffington Post jumped on it because God forbid there's nothing more important for them to go ahead and report. And so this guy stole all Patton's material, and then it was a big thing on MySpace and Facebook, and people went after him, and I think he apologized, but he was more delusional than anything else, whatever. It turned into a thing. But then it kind of went away, and I was going to talk about it, but I was like, what are you doing? How bored are you that you're playing with your hair? But then this week, another guy stole Patton Oswalt's material. A guy, the valedictorian at Columbia University, in his valedictorian speech, did a bit about being in a class at the school. And it wasn't his. He made it a personal anecdote, and it's a Patton bit from the earliest I saw was 2006. I saw it on video, but yeah, and this guy delivered it in his commencement speech, and which of course winds up on YouTube. And then Patton, and I thought this was funny, but Patton didn't get back to me. It made me mad. He twittered, "Hey, valedictorian at Columbia University, good material for your speech," or whatever. And it was a link to whatever. And he goes, "That's right. Is anybody else going to plagiarize me, especially the valedictorian?" And I wrote back, I said, "How does the valedictorian at Columbia University use Bend Over Abigail May? Here comes the gravy pipe" in his commencement speech. Because that's one of my favorite things from the Black Angus thing. And then I was ignored. Patton, because I'm sure Patton had instead his army of fans going, "Let's kill this guy." Because that's what happened. They put the guy's email online and all these people, and then Patton's like, "We don't stop," because then Patton has to try to contain his nerd army, because because this is what the nerd army thinks Patton wants, but Patton doesn't want that. He just he got an apology from the guy, but at the same time, the guy's life is ruined. Not ruined, but this guy's the valedictorian at Columbia University. He's a plagiarizer, and now when people Google his name, or potential job people are going to look for him on YouTube, and they're going to see him stealing the material, see this whole controversy that erupted, and then you got to wonder how this guy became valedictorian. I mean, but Patton put it in his blog. He's like, how rubbery are this guy's boundaries? You know what I mean? If he's going to steal my material for this, you got to figure he was confronted with other choices during his entire time in school, and how much play was there and what his decisions were. And he's absolutely right. You know what I mean? You can't. Guys like that can't be trusted. Folks, you can't plagiarize. You can't steal stuff. And with that, I would like to read aloud from this manuscript I have stolen from Patton Oswalt. How funny. I'm sorry, my herpes are hurting. Hold on.
Quit touching it.
No,
because I don't want to touch you now that you touched it.
It's my thumb. I mean, it's fine. Well, I didn't know. I'm not touching it. Look, I'm going like this.
Okay.
And pushing it toward my tongue, like.
You have issues.
I do. I'm not happy about this. I might as well just put on Carmex with a slingshot. You know what I mean? Or sleep with my face in a bucket of it, but it won't heal. God damn it! What's wrong with my head, folks?
Abreva.
What's Abreva?
That's what you want.
That's what I want.
I get cold sores.
Oh, okay. But I don't get them. That's the thing is I never get them.
That's what you want. It will knock it out.
All right. I'll go pick it up. And then even
$27 too. It's ridiculous.
Oh, then I'm out.
But it'll work.
No, I'd rather live with herpes. You know what? Fuck you, $27. I'll take the herpes. That's fine. I'd rather bitch and moan about it. And then even worse, I went to the dentist, man. So I ate the double down sandwich, and that was, that's tall food. I got to open my mouth for that because it is, it's got the layer of potatoes. Okay, folks, go seriously. Because then people twittered back. I wrote, "I'm a diabolical fat genius," and then all these people wrote back, "Well, what'd you think of it?" Well, I thought "I'm a diabolical fat genius" said it all. But then I wrote them all, and I'm like, "Oh, dude, it's I trust me, I'm on board with the naked sandwich. It was fucking great." And people were like, "Yay!" And then I said, "Yay!" And then we all had a Twitter party. So, but yeah, that's a wide berth opening my mouth to eat that chicken. I think maybe that's how I split it initially. That's how I did it. That's how I got the herpes.
See, it may not be herpes. It may just be you split your lip open.
Yeah, well, but it won't go away. That's the thing. Is it's like normally because I'll slather the Carmex on it when I go to sleep. You know what I mean? And then 6 hours you wake up later and your mouth is. It's not that bad. Jesus, who am I, Donnie the Punk? I mean, I don't have the fucking torn corners of my mouth like Donnie did. That's a story from a few weeks ago. All right. I do not want Donnie the Punk to be a trending topic on this show. I need to be honest with you. I told that story once, and now he keeps coming up because of the fact that I know his name now. Like, I didn't know his name before. He was just the guy who got raped by a billion guys. But now I have to know his name. Awful. I don't want to, it's like whenever it says, hey, you put a name to the face, I don't want to put a name to the torn rectum. I don't want to have to do that. And his name is so accessible too. Donnie the Punk. Donnie the Punk. I mean, it just break me off a piece of that, Donnie the Punk. All right, that sounded awful. How did I sing about Donnie the Punk in the Kit Kat song? You'll never read Kit Kat again without thinking about anal rape. And let's be honest, we all do anyway. I mean, I do certainly. Because there was I think I told you there was a weird comic when I was a kid. Did I tell you that story? Dude, when I was a kid, I'm 26, and when I first got back to Chicago to start doing stand up, one night we were at the Comedy Room. I told this story. There was a guy who went up and did uncomfortable material that seemed to be real, and we were all kind of like vaguely. It was Diane Dooley and her brother. Diane Dooley was this crazy woman in Chicago who would show up at open mics and do comedy. But her comedy was all based in sadness. I mean, just this horrible, oh, Christ. And look, we all know comedy plus tragedy equals time. No. I'm not good at math. But that made me laugh. I'm not good at math, folks. But Diane Dooley would show up, and then she would do these horrible things about her family and these terrible... essentially, she would do this podcast, but not funny. I mean, like she would, go ahead and spin yarns on stage about how bad things had gone. And then she had a brother who was even more creepy. And he would do this whole bunch of don't you hates, like don't you hate when da da da, but they were too real, like they were really awful, like don't you hate when you put peanut butter on your balls and then your dog won't wake up, like like those kind of things, and you're like, oh, but it wasn't. You're like, this is, but you believed that they were real coming from him. And the worst one was, don't you hate when you do what the orderly said, when you suck off the orderly like he asked and he doesn't give you the Kit Kat bar. And you were just like, and he said that, and that's why. So now Kit Kat, of course, to me is always associated with a sexual violation, which made that peppy song all the worse. And now I've inserted Donnie the Punk into that song, which is, believe me, that's the first time anybody's inserted Donnie the Punk into something, as opposed to the flip side of that, as opposed to the inverse. Yeah, so break me off a piece of that Donnie the Punk. That's awful. Why? So terrible. I don't even. He's on my Facebook. Whatever. Stop talking about it. Why did you people have to find him? That's the thing, is I talk about stuff in these vagaries, and then you guys go and dig it up. And so now I'm scared to even mention anything that's ever happened. You know what I mean? Because someone's going to be like, hey, by the way, here's some home photos of Jeffrey Dahmer eating a guy. Holy shit. Where did you find those? Well, you were talking about it on the show. No, I really wasn't. I'm just kind of in passing. Now my Facebook page is going to be littered with herpes photos. You know what I mean? Oh, does it look like this? Does it look like this? Does it look like this? Oh, my God, no. And then even worse, I had to go to the dentist. I went to the dentist the other day. As we all know, folks, there's been a raging controversy about my mouth. We don't know what's going on inside. It's been terrible. Well, since my excursions last year to the dentist, I floss and brush and use, mouthwash twice a day, definitely, sometimes 3 times a day, because I went the other way. I became obsessed with it. As opposed to never, as opposed to just brushing my teeth but not flossing or any of that bullshit. Now all the accoutrement. I've got a fucking water pick. I'll get a cockatoo and he pokes his head in there and he eats the food out from between my teeth. My mom had that. My mom had a bird, and he would walk up on your face, and then you would open your mouth, and he would peck inside he would like bite your teeth. Yeah, it's crazy.
That's where you had
That's how I got the herpes. Or as Tim Kazurinsky would say, you have chirpies. That's a bit from Saturday Night Live in the 80s, folks. Enjoy that. So yeah, I got it from a bird. All right. It was sitting there the whole time, and I'm like, I can't say it. Don't say it. And then why not? Okay, because I'll throw Kazurinsky a bone. That guy's probably selling real estate now, but he used to be like a fucking writer and a guy on Saturday Night Live, and so yeah, there you go. Credit Tim Kazurinsky with chirpies.
Oh my God.
Okay, so yeah, absolutely. So so now my dentistry has been crazily amped up. Like, I mean, to the point where I should have a lab coat. I mean, I'm so fucking astute and so into the whole aspect of it. So I get in there, and I got a new hygienist. They took Tina off the case and gave me Christina, because apparently you must have Tina in your name to work there. And I sit down, and I tell her, I said, I'm actually pretty excited about this. She goes, yeah, and I go, yeah. I go, I'm because, first of all, I like the dentist. I like when they poke around in there. But also, I want to get good grades. I mean, I'm excited to see what they're going to say. So she sits down, and she starts looking at it. And, they give you that number count and your gums and all this stuff. And, I needed an irrigation, whatever, a whole bunch of nonsense. But suffice to say, she went through my cleaning before. I've had deep cleanings that take like 90 minutes. My cleaning was done in 20 minutes.
Yay!
And she even said, she goes, I don't know what you're doing, but you need to keep doing it. She goes, because because they had me on a cleaning schedule where I would have to come in every 3 months. And when we walked out there, she goes, I think we can make it every 6 months. And I said, fantastic. And unfortunately, that whatever was in my mouth has creeped out to the outside of my mouth. And it decided to split my fucking cheek open. I have like Copenhagen cheek, but I don't even chew. I mean, like I just it's terrible. But yeah, the dentist was thrilled. So I had I've had a bad week again, folks. Other than that glowing recommendation from the dentist, the week has been bad, and I haven't even gotten to it yet. I haven't even talked. Although everything I've talked about has been good. I've talked about a great sandwich and my discovery, and everything was fine. Right now, the only thing you know about my bad week is the herpes. As if that wasn't bad enough, folks. But believe me, it got worse.
Hello, I'm Paul Gilmartin from Basic Cable, and you're listening to Basic Jackass Mike Schmidt, host the 40-year-old boy on the Mike Schmidt Podcasting Network. Now accepting donations, I hear? How quaint.
You're listening to The 40-Year-Old Boy, and later, The Velvet Rope. Big James and Chewy would like a word with you outside.
What are you writing for?
I got this application, from that joint down on 4th Street.
The Valentine Gardens?
Yeah, look at this, man. They got these goofy questions like, look, do you have any first date experience?
What'd you put?
Yes.
What? How do you have fucking first date experience?
Dude, you remember that time I stopped that broad from choking? You remember the broad,
Stop in the Bon Jovi t-shirt?
Yeah, remember I stopped her from choking?
Yeah, you punched her in the fucking stomach and a goddamn chicken wing flew out of her mouth.
Stopped choking, didn't she?
Women always welcome, men get in line. The Velvet Rope on the Mike Schmidt Podcasting Network.
Fucking Heimlich.
I say my week got worse, folks, but there is good stuff. Still, I have more good stuff to talk about. It's dumb. I should have said about this earlier. Hey, here's what I did this week. What I did on Monday night. I went to... there's a venue here in Los Angeles called the House of Blues, which I used to work at, and I went and saw a band called Rock Sugar on Monday night. Yeah, Lily fake enthusiasm. Lily could not go. I wanted her to go, and so did they. First, all right, let's get into this. Rock Sugar, if you don't know who they are, they're a band that I am a fan of, and I wound up listening to their CD, and then they actually did the show last year in year 2, which is for sale, and I'll get to that in a second. But literally, they are the only guests I've ever had on this show. They did the final episode of year 2. Rock Sugar, great guys, amazing band, and go see them if they come to your town. I know they're coming to England, so please, England, go ahead and see Rock Sugar. They're playing, I think, Castle Donington with AC/DC and 100,000 people, and Rock Sugar's going to be there. And I will tell you, after seeing their show, they are not going to have a problem entertaining 100,000 people. Because they played in a venue that is, it's a smaller venue, the House of Blues. First of all, it was my homecoming to the House of Blues, which is, don't think they weren't excited, folks. When we pulled up, they opened the door and they're like, Mike, fucking 454, you're back. And none of that is true because there is not one person there would recognize me. Because, again, nobody, and rightfully so. I was there in 98. If someone is still working there 12 years later, Jesus Christ, that's going to be fucking horrible. Move on with your life, unless you're running the joint. So Karen and I show up at the venue, and all right, I knew they were coming. Someone wrote me and was like, hey, are you going to the House of Blues to see Rock Sugar? Joe Saruman wrote me, and he's like, hey, dude, I don't know if you're going to the House of Blues to see Rock Sugar, but I'm going to come down, and I'm going to check them out, and it would be kind of cool if we all got together for a picture or something like that. And folks, I don't want to be that guy because I don't know these guys really. I mean, they were really nice, and I wound up liking them a lot. And then they came on the show, and they could not have been more friendly or cool. And they've stayed in touch. I should tell you this: they've written me. Jesse Harnell is the lead singer, and he's out of the blue, he'll write me a text. He sent me a CD, and nice man, really cool guy. So, but at the same time, I want to keep it that way. I don't want to be a guy who, when I hear they're in Los Angeles, I don't want to be, hey Jesse, hi, it's Mike. Remember me from the 40-Year-Old Boy podcast? Can I come to your show, please? That would be really cool. Can you get me in? I didn't want to be that asshole. You know what I mean? I just, I would have paid to see them, absolutely. And it looked like I was going to because once I found out they were coming, I'm like, well, I'll pay to get in. I don't mind buying a ticket because they deserve it, quite frankly. But also, Joe Saruman was like, dude, you should just contact them and see about getting on the list or whatever. And And I won't do that, man, because, for two weird reasons. One, I don't want to be that constant burr in their heavy metal saddle. I don't want to be that guy who's like, hey, dude, you did my podcast. Remember that free show in a fucking living room? Terrible. I mean, I'm nobody, and I recognize that. But secondly, I wanted them to ask me if I wanted to come to the show. Isn't that stupid? I wanted them to go, hey, we got to bring that guy from the podcast. We know Mike. He's a cool guy. Because when I talked to them when they left me, they were making noises about inviting Lily and I up to their house, and we were going to hang out. That's a bruise, by the way. What is that? I don't even know what that's from. Lily's got a thigh bruise. Hell if I know. That sums it all up. Lily's bruised and battered and has no fucking idea why. But your thigh, though. I mean, that's you don't normally get a bruise there, right?
Probably drop something.
Drop something, and not at that angle. Those are finger bruises.
No, they aren't.
I'm teasing. I don't know. It looks like somebody gripped your thigh really hard.
I dropped my computer onto my knee.
Wow. All right. That's bad. That's not good.
It was like this big.
It was a huge honking bruise before, but
bruise,
all right.
yeah,
Well, still, it's pretty big.
healing.
It's fairly discolored. I had awesome bruises once, dude. When I was lifting, dude. All right. Rocky with a Blog is on the website. You guys have seen the new website. And Rocky with a Blog, there's a page for it. I can tell you it starts June 1st. Okay, and I'm not going to make a big deal out of it because I did last time and I fucking paid the price. And it was my own fault. But a lot of people have been posting on the blog, and some people have said, hey, look, I weigh this and I want to go ahead and participate and go along with it. And that's really cool, and I hope you do that. And there will be a lot more entries, but I can tell you that starting June 1st is when, because again, I'm very big on hard deadlines. And also because, I got a house full of shit that I need to get rid of. I mean, it's like I've got to get rid of a bunch of crap that's in my house. And I got to baby-proof my house. I got to Rocky-proof my house. I mean, I got to make sure that fucking crackers and all that kind of shit is gone. And it's funny, my wife is like, I'm going to have a website called Yo Adrian. And so she's like, she's going to go along with it. And she said she's going to do the same exact thing. And I said, that's great. Yeah, and then she comes home from the 99-cent store with a bag of sour cream and onion Chex Mix filled. Like, I'm talking a shopping bag filled with big grab size Chex Mix. Look at the deal I got. These were only 99 cents. And she's got 15 of them or whatever. I'm like, dude, quit bringing this shit in the goddamn house. I can't eat this stuff. Hold on a second. And then I'd Cookie Monster the shit out of it. You know what I mean? That's the thing. My wife, Yo Adrian's my enemy. She thinks that she's helping me, and I've asked her to do so. But at the same time, man, she's not afraid of going and ordering chicken strips at fucking 1 in the morning. Like this week, she's on a fucking toy hunt again for stupid McDonald's toys. So she has to buy a Happy Meal now every time she gets buys Donkey or Shrek or the cat or the 3 pigs, and she's going all over looking at. We went the other morning, dude. Here's how fat I am. Okay, the other morning we went up after Rock Sugar. We went to the taco truck, and it's midnight. We go to the taco truck for, which is fine. Again, it's $1 and they're so good. Carnitas, I'm a fan. And I shouldn't be eating late. I shouldn't be eating that shit. But we go to there, and across the street there's a McDonald's, and Karen looks at me, and she's like, I don't have Donkey yet. And I go, well, it's okay. Go over to there, and we'll see if they got Donkey. And because we're in the drive-thru, we can't just ask if they have Donkey. I get a Filet-O-Fish meal. After literally buying a quesadilla, a burrito, and 4 tacos that are in a bag to go home and eat, we go to McDonald's and get a Filet-O-Fish meal for the ride home. I'm fucking fat, folks. And it's changing. It's fucking changing. And it's my head. It's my crazy fat head that tells me to do these things. And, for the Lost finale, Karen's like, do you want me to cook dinner? What should we make? Or whatever. And I go, I don't know. I go, what are we going to have? And I go, could you make macaroni and cheese? Because she makes this homemade macaroni and cheese that is really unbelievable. And I'm like, yeah, I go, you know what? Make macaroni and cheese. She's like, all right, well, what else do you want? And I said, well, why don't we have like a big salad, like a crazy big, cucumbers, onions, and she's like, well, what do you want for dinner though? I mean, we'll get the salad, but then there's dinner. And I wanted to get chicken. Like I was going to get barbecue chicken, or I was getting all these different things. And I'm like, why are you doing that, dude? Because my fucking head tells me to do that. But in reality, if I had a big salad and then I had maybe some macaroni and cheese, I'd be fine. I'd be fucking fine. I'd be done. And so we did. That's what we ate. We ate macaroni and cheese and we ate salad and we watched Lost. And by the way, everybody bitching about the Lost finale, go jump off a fucking cliff. Seriously. And I recognize that you didn't like it or you expected a lot of different things, and you have your opinions, and you're right. Okay, I will tell you this: the people bitching about the Lost finale, you're right, because they didn't answer shit. Okay, what they did instead was they went, you know what? We're going to hide the fact that we don't have any answers at all for what's going on in the island behind 6 really happy endings. That's all they did. They decided, you know what? We don't have any of the answers at all about Lost or the Dharma Initiative. No one knows why the fuck they were on the island. We have no idea why Walt is important and psychic and why the others needed him. And there's a storyline from the first season. I don't know if anybody will remember this if you're Lost fans. Spoiler alert if you haven't seen the first season. Claire is the Australian woman, and she is going to have a baby, all right? And she's pregnant on the island. And in her flashback story, she goes to a psychic, and when the psychic touches her hand, he physically has to get away from her because her baby is evil. And I'm not kidding you. He's like, he makes this weird thing where he's like, okay, are you planning on having this baby? Like, he's trying to steer her into not having the baby. And then he is a psychic. He knows that Oceanic Flight 815 is going to crash. He books her on that flight to go to Los Angeles to murder her baby. Because he knows the plane is going to crash. That's why he books her on the flight, because her baby is like the key to all evil and horribleness. And all right, so that's year 1. So literally, we're in year 6, and I keep waiting for them to pay off on the evil baby angle. All we know is that she has the baby, and then Kate winds up raising it, and then, of course, there's a monster, and whatever. That's fine. It's all confusing. I get it. Okay? But I loved it. I loved the finale because I'm a fucking sap. All right, I told you I'm part lady. So if you give me, a happy ending, I'm pretty much on board. If you give me 6 different happy endings throughout the course of the fucking show, oh my God! You might as well. I don't care what happens. Honestly, you can betray any storyline you want if as long as everybody's happy at the end. Yay! Everybody's happy and sitting in a church and they're friendly and they're wearing nice clothes. I don't get it either. Okay, I'll be honest with you. I don't get it. So I take it back. Don't jump off a cliff. If you're pissed, I understand that you're pissed because they didn't answer any fucking questions. All right. But at the same time, I have no problems with the finale. I sat there watching it sobbing like a lady. I mean, I might have gone through a fucking box of Kleenex after. And I will tell you this. I had a better ending. Once it started to look like where it was going, I said to Karen, I said, I think I know what's going to happen here. And then it got to a certain point, and I go, this is what's going to happen. And it wasn't what happened. And I was disappointed because I thought mine would have been cool. But that's okay. Who cares? I mean, what the fuck do I know? It's all part of my bad week, folks. And I'll get to that in a second. But seriously, so I went and saw Rock Sugar, and so how did I get in? I got into Rocky. I was talking about Rocky, and your bruise threw me off.
You got a bruise wrestling. That was what you were just going to tell.
But
You went crazy.
oh, my awesome bruises. Dude, all right, so like I said, Rocky with the Blog is going to start, and that's fine, and we'll talk about that much. I'll get to that in a second. But sure enough, when I was lifting, okay, I lifted like an animal. Like, I mean, I lifted hard. Like, I was a guy, when I was working with my trainer, I would go in 3-4 times a week. I didn't do the cardio I was supposed to be doing, but on the off days, I would go do mixed martial arts and jiu-jitsu and wrestling and fighting, okay? But when I would be training with Richard in the gym, we'd go lift hard, and then I'd be fucking pouring sweat, and then at the end, I'd finish off with, I'd do ab work and core, core stuff, and then I'd box. He'd hold the mitts, and I'd throw fucking kicks and punches, and it was really, I have to admit, it was great because I went hard, and I would make these loud noises on the mitts, because I was hitting them fucking, and it would stop the gym. Like, people would look and be like, what the fuck's going on over there? Because I'd be popping the fucking pads by throwing hard kicks and stuff. So when I started to do sit-ups and really hardcore, you do plank and all these different things to work your abdominals. So I told Richard, I said, do me a favor, punch me in the stomach while I'm doing sit-ups.
Yes.
And he's like, what do you mean? And I go, well, like Rocky, like when he would do a sit-up and then they'd hit him in the stomach with the mitt. And he'd go, you sure? I'd go, fuck yeah. I go, bounce the medicine ball off my stomach while I'm doing the abdominals. So I would do it. I would do a crunch, and then I would lean back, and he would bounce the medicine ball off my stomach, and I would set up, and then I said, when we did the medicine ball, then he would punch me. I would tell him, I go, hit me hard in the stomach, like slap me, with the mitt in the gut. And he's like, all right. So I would be doing the core stuff, and it was like, wham, wham. And then I'd do a crunch, and bam, bam, and hit me in the stomach because it was I mean, I loved it because, again, I was becoming a fucking machine. And I part of me wants to always be fighting. Like, I mean, I want to be physical, all right? It's important to me to be fucking physical. And so that was a part of the physical aspect of it. Like, because I don't like just lifting and stuff like that. Like, I want to fight. It's terrible. All right, I don't know how to explain it. So, but then he was hitting me in the gut, and it was fucking awesome. And this went on for a few weeks, and then one time at the gym, I like kind of pulled my shirt up to dry off my face, and I had a shirt on over an Under Armour. Well, my Under Armour kind of creeped up because again, I was doing all this lifting and losing all this weight, but I had all this loose skin from being fucking fat, and it was just hanging there. So when I pulled my shirt up, he saw my gut, and my gut from my right arm to my left arm all the way across was black.
Oh my god.
Like yellow, black, and blue. Like huge bruises across my midsection. They didn't hurt, okay? Because it was just the dead fucking fat loose meat flesh that was getting bruised up from him hitting me as I would do my workouts. And again, didn't hurt. If it hurt, I would have stopped. I'm not crazy. But it was because it's underneath. You know, it's like I have this. Sadly, I have a Mike Schmidt suit over like a Mike Schmidt person, like over me. Like I have a second suit of skin over. You know, because you can fucking. It's weird. Karen, I'll make Karen punch me in the stomach. I'm an idiot. I get that. I'm talking in circles. But it's like, you know, my abs, except for the fact that there's 4 inches of fucking flab encased over them, underneath them, you know, they're in decent shape because unfortunately they're clenched all the time, holding those 4 inches of fucking flab up constantly. Because I have to hold my gut in all the time because I'm a fucking fat hog. All right, so. Why am I? So anyway, the bottom line is he saw these bruises and they were awesome. To me they were a badge of honor. It indicated that I was working and getting work done. And he saw them and he goes, "Dude, we gotta stop with the fucking hitting." And I go, "No, it's fine." And he goes, "Nah, dude, if that's happening, you need to stop. So once they recover, we'll move on from that." And so he stopped hitting me with the mitts, but he still used the medicine ball because the medicine ball wasn't bruising me. All right, so how did I spin off into that?
Rock sugar is where you were. Stop my bruise.
Rock Sugar. Okay. You know what I should do? Rock Sugar with a blog. So I wanted them to ask me to go to the show because I'm stupid. All right. And so I wasn't going to go. And I was like, well, I could pay for a ticket. I go, how do you miss it? It's their first show in Los Angeles. I go, you know what? I'll just pay. I'll go. It'll be fine. And then last week, I told you Joe Saruman had asked if I was going to go. I said I wasn't sure. I didn't, and he said, well, I'm going to call them and get on their list. And I wrote him explicitly. I said, dude, do not mention me and do not say that I need to be on their list. I said, because I'm not doing that. I want to be remembered as the cool guy they had a fun time with at the podcast, and that's it. I don't ever want to be the guy who's bothering them for stuff. So Joe writes me back. He's like, all right. He goes, well, I'm making the trip so they can put me on the list. And he works for Polestar anyway, so why wouldn't they put him on the list? Then I get a text message from Jesse on a Friday. And he's like, dude, first show in LA Monday. You're coming, right? Let me know how many people you want to bring. You, Lily, how many other people you want to bring. I'll get it handled. I was stunned, again, because the fact that I'm even in their orbit, you know what I mean? It's weird to me. Because, again, because Jesse, not only is he in the band, but I mean, his IMDb page is like 1,000 entries, and he does all this work. And they're so relentlessly positive and cool, and it was nice. It was nice to get that text. So I wrote him back, and I said, look, I'm not sure if Lily's coming because she can't. She has the Monday Night Teas, which I'll get to in a second. But she has her show, so she can't do a Monday thing. So I wrote him back, and I go, Lily's out. We thought maybe Eddie was going to go, but Eddie couldn't go. And then Mike Siegel, my buddy Mike, was like, hey, maybe I'll go, and he couldn't go. So I finally, I was like, well, I wrote him. I go, thank you for thinking of me. As soon as I know who's coming, I'll let you know. And he was so great. Over the next couple of days, he sent me texts, and he's like, hey, you rule, dude. How many you want? Let me know. And Mike, you out there? He's sending like these weird texts at 1 a.m. And then finally I told him, I go, look, it's just me plus one, me and my wife. And he's like, no problem. Looking forward to seeing you. It'll be great. And then Joe contacted me and he said, look, I don't know if you're going, but I want to do a photo with you and the band. And then I wrote him and I said, look, I go, that just seems weird. I go, if you want to stop and say hi to me, that's fine. I go, but this is their night. I mean, the last fucking thing they wanted some, idiot wandering in and going, oh, duh, remember me? I mean, it's stupid. So I went to the show and, it was, I will tell you this, he said he would get me on the guest list and he would handle it and all that stuff. But then I go on Facebook, they have an open guest list. They're like, hey, anybody wants to come, let me know. I'm like, well, I'm not as special as I thought. Even though he personally texted me, so I am, but at the same time, I'm just weird enough to go, oh, whatever. And, okay, I didn't know what was happening there. You started, that's how you got your bruise, by moving that quickly. You poke yourself. Sorry, my herpes, I'm talking. Folks, again, bad week. I'll get to it in a second. So I went ahead and I went to the show. Karen and I went, and Jesse's like, I go, dude, get there by what, 8:30? He goes, 8:45. You should be fine. And it was Rock Sugar, and I will say that unfortunately they weren't headlining the show. They were working with Steel Panther, who's another like metal experience. Like they play metal songs, but then they have their own material, and they do a whole crazy stage show. But the thing was, Karen had to get up early for work, so we couldn't stay the whole night for Steel Panther. So I was just going to see Rock Sugar and probably bail. So we show up at the House of Blues, and I will say that I went to order a drink at one point, and some woman recognized me from my voice. I don't know if she recognized me from my voice from the show, or if she knew what I looked like. But she just comes up and she's like, "My husband's he really likes your show. He's like right behind you." So I'm like, literally, he was right behind me. He's peering over my shoulder, and I turned around. It was Aaron, a nice guy named Aaron, and his wife Rachel. And I talked to them for just like a couple minutes, and they were really nice, and they were complimentary about the show, and they were like, we knew you'd be here, and it was fun. So meeting them was great. And then I also ran into another guy named Charlie and his friend Cliff, who also listened to the show, and recognized me from my voice, heard me talk, and they like, are you Mike Schmidt? Wait, this has happened before where people recognize me. That guy, when I got my haircut, a guy heard me give my name. I was just like, yeah, hi, I need a haircut. And the guy goes, are you Mike Schmidt? The guy sitting next to me. And I go, yeah. And he goes, oh, he was a fan of Never Not Funny, a guy named Clint. And so there, whatever, it's neither here. But it's odd. I will tell you, it's weird to talk, and then someone goes, they know who you are from your voice. Very strange. But not that strange. And again, Aaron and Rachel were very nice, and they it's not like they were. Believe me, I was probably I weirded them out a lot more than they weirded me out. Because it's always I welcome it. I'm happy to meet people. That's fun. It's neat. And Cliff and Charlie were nice guys too. Whatever. So there was an opening. We get there at 8:30, and the fucking they didn't start. Like the show didn't start until like 9:30. It was So we're outside. And then Karen's like, "Well, can we eat something at the House of Blues?" And we used to really like eating at the House of Blues, especially when I worked there. I would go in and get a discount, but they had food that we liked. Now that place has gone to shit. I mean, it's terrible because they've had to lay everybody off, and now it's just Dan Aykroyd in the back making sandwiches for everybody. And we walked in, and we go into the restaurant to kill time, and there's no hostess, there's no waitress, but there's a bunch of people eating, and there's a bar, and we're waiting, and nobody's coming to talk to us, and we're waiting. And then there's a guy in a booth. He looks and he goes, "Hey, it's like this is just a private reception." He goes, "It's open bar and free food. Go get it." Which made me laugh because I part of me was like, maybe the guy's just being nice, but also part of maybe the guy's he's playing a trick. You know what I mean? Which I actually had to respect. I think that's kind of funny if you try to trick a couple into going to get free food, and then he like points us out to, hey, who are these idiots eating the free food? You know what I mean? So I enjoyed his trying to bring the chaos. That was fun. And also I would never do that. I don't crash a food, especially with Karen. But if I don't crash a food thing because I'm fat. Because then it looks like, oh, this fat guy couldn't control himself and he had to try to steal free food. You can roll your eyes all you want, but that's the fucking way it's perceived. Okay, let's put it this way: if a good-looking dude in like a leather jacket and I don't know why he has to wear the leather jacket. Why does he have a bomber jacket on? If a guy who looks like David Cassidy crashes the food buffet, everybody goes, "Wow, who's that good-looking guy having a crudité?" But if I do it, they're like, "Wow, somebody hauled this fat guy out of here. Call security." So I refuse to be put in that position. So sure enough, we waited, and finally a woman came over and she said, "This is a private reception for Foundation Club members. Sorry, the restaurant is closed today." All right, so I got to go sit out on the porch some more. So we go sit in the porch. Finally, the ticket list comes. I get the tickets, and we wait to go in, and I don't even want to be out. I don't want to see the opening band. I don't give a shit. So then we go in, and Karen, where do you want to stand? Because you can only stand up in the House of Blues. And we went up dead center. Like basically it would be the equivalent of like third row center. I would imagine a fourth row. And we sat there and Rock Sugar came out and they fucking destroyed it. They destroyed it. They only had a half hour, which was a bummer, but they played a show that, quite frankly, if there would have been 20,000 people there, those people would have been satisfied. I texted Jesse later. I said, "Dude, you hit the back wall this whole time." I mean, they played at the back of the arena and everybody else in the middle got caught up in it because you can just see that they're seasoned performers who are used. They were not shy, man. They fucking came out and ripped it up, and they did, and they sounded exactly like they sound on the CD. Which really, I was wondering how it was going to be. You know what I mean? I trusted them. They said that they would, but dude, it sounded like the CD, but better because Jesse. I should tell you this: when we got there super early, they were on, and I heard them singing, and I was like, "Dude, they're on!" And someone goes, "It's a sound check." So I went in. Karen and I went into the sound check, and I walked right past the security. I didn't even say anything to him. I just walked right over to the front. And the security guy goes, whoa, hold on a second. Can I help you? And I go, yeah, you know, we're just going to the will call window, so we're going to cut through and go to the top. And he goes, okay, great. So he let me walk through. And I sat there and watched them do it's the final song in the album again because their names are so fucking retarded. You know, it's like...
Isn't that the Breakfast in America?
Yeah, Dream On with Breakfast in America and all. Yeah, Dreaming of a Wonderful Breakfast, whatever the fuck it's called. And that was the song they did at Soundcheck. And Jesse was on the floor. He was actually on the floor, you know, hearing the band. And I wanted to talk to them, but I'm like, they're busy. I don't want to be that guy. And then they finished up their sound check. And then as they were finishing, security came up to me because we were waiting. And he just goes, I thought you were going upstairs. I'm like, yes, we're going upstairs. And we went upstairs. So that was for sound checks. And then we wound up in the middle of the floor. And then they came out and tore it up, man. And they did not play that song, so I got to see a bonus. I got to see it at sound check.
Cool.
Yeah. But even that sounded amazing at sound check. All of their music, I can't tell you. If they come, you got to see them. If you liked it. If you liked it, you have to see them because it will blow you away. Because Jesse... Jesus, he sounds amazing. He just sounds amazing live. And he even he did the thing he talked about where he's going to show people how to be certain vocalists. And so he did the Vince Neil, the ma. He did that and he showed, but then he did Steve Perry. Dude, I mean, I would just pay to see that guy sing like Steve Perry. He wouldn't even, look, I like Chuck and I enjoyed Alex was the drummer and Johnny was the bass player. I met them all later. And, but, those guys are nice, but I want to see Jesse sing like Steve Perry. I mean, and I love Rock Sugar. I mean, I love them, but they open with Sandman. They open with, I was like, how are they opening with that? But they did. And the thing that was great, Lily, as this show is only to you now, they filled the House of Blues. And people were coming to see Steel Panther too, no doubt. But there were so many people there who knew what Rock Sugar was doing, and they were into it. Because if you don't know who they are and they start doing it, there's a tendency to just go, what the fuck is this? But no, these people were all on board with it and they loved it and they were singing because they all know the songs anyway to sing them. But then when there were people who actually, you could, again, it's that thing where when I first heard the album and I started laughing, you could see people in the audience when they started to hear what they were doing and they heard the music, like they would make this weird puzzled face. And then as it would proceed, they'd go, oh, like they got it. Like immediately they got it as they heard it performed live. And then whenever they did, they go into the second song and the third song, they'd go, this is what they do. This isn't a goof. This wasn't like a knockoff where they open with a cute song to get our attention. This is what they fucking do, and they do it really well. And they did, man. They tore it up. And I'm so sad that it was a short set, but it didn't matter because it was fucking great. And we were right dead center, and they were singing, and they finished, and then they came back out, and they closed up early, like I said. And as it ended, then they saw me, and they pointed at me from the stage, which was fun. Because then Karen's like, she's like, they're looking at you, because Jesse was walking around, and he was very, they're performing to everybody. Yeah. But then at the end of the final song, there, the whole with the cymbals and everything, and he stopped and he just pointed right at me, and he's just nodding, and I'm just like, yeah, because what do you do at that point? Point back like a nerd, give him the Ted Lange thumbs from the fucking, the Love Boat. Hey, how you doing? Give him the finger point. Yeah, I'm Isaac, your bartender. I'm a fucking idiot. But it was cool. I was fucking great because then Karen goes, he's looking at you. She grabbed my shirt. She goes, he's looking at you. And I'm like, yeah. And then he waved, and then they finished. And then Karen goes, all right, let's go. So, because they were done, and we go to walk out. And as we're walking out, I hear, Mike Schmidt! And I'm like, and a guy grabs my jacket, and it was Joe. It was Joe Saruman. Yeah. And he's like, what are you doing? And I go, nothing. I actually, we're not even sticking around for Steel Panther. And he's like, no, you're not? He goes, I wanted to get you upstairs to take a picture with the band. And I go, dude, I don't want to be that guy who, and he goes, I already talked to them. He goes, Mike, I told them that I wanted you to do it and you didn't want to do it. And Jesse goes, oh, he's going to fucking do it. And I'm like, are you sure? And he goes, dude, they want you to come upstairs. I'm not kidding. And as we're talking, a guy comes back out and goes, you want to hear more Rock Sugar? And I'm like, dude, they're doing a fucking encore. I gave up third row center. So I go, Joe, I'll be back. And then we went back down to the floor. And they came out to do an encore, and Jesse gave people the choice. He goes, you want to hear an AC/DC thing, a Guns N' Roses thing, or a Journey thing? And I wanted to hear the Guns. I really wanted to hear it. And he let people vote. He goes, what about AC/DC? And he let them cheer. And the highest cheer was for Journey. Everybody wanted to hear another Journey one because, again, and I don't blame them because he's fucking awesome. And he even said on stage, he goes, you know what? He goes, Journey always wins because all the girls yell for Journey. He goes, but we got to do it. So then they did the Rat and Journey. Again, I don't know the names of the fucking songs, but it was the one that mixes Separate Ways with Round and Round. And that was the song but to hear that live too, because then that was the song that made me want to wake Karen up. And they played it live, and he fucking nailed it. His voice, Jesus, his voice. Oh my God! The thing when he did the Steve Perry, I can't even do it. He goes, oh, and it was fucking amazing. So then they finished the song, and it was great, and they were done. And then I went back and I found Joe, and he goes, all right, let's go upstairs. And I go, Joe, I don't have a pass, I don't have a wristband or anything. And he goes, no, I have a wristband, and you just come with me. So I will say this: the House of Blues has changed because it used to be, where you had to stop everybody at every single checkpoint and make sure they had their stuff. Unless they were a celebrity, they could fucking go right upstairs. But we just breezed. I mean, we were walking past security people. They weren't even fucking talking to us. It was so strange. And then we were going to wait for an elevator, and then they go, no, let's go up the stairs. So we went up the stairs, and we get to the second landing. And I go, this is where Rick James took a swing at me. And Joe goes, what? I go, this is where I almost fought Rick James. And he goes, what are you talking about? And I go, never. And I felt stupid then. Like I was like, never mind. It's a story from year one. If you didn't hear it, you're not going to know what I'm talking about. Let's get out of here. You know what I mean? Because, but it was funny. It was the same landing where I had to guard the stairway and get passes, and where I actually fought Rick James. And so, believe me, there's nothing stupider than telling somebody that, and then they go, what? Like because it's like when I showed Alfonso I go, this is the hotel where I lived, you know what I mean, or the intersection where I was, and everybody's like, oh my God, because I think these are landmarks to me, and I think people who hear the show, it might be neat if they saw them, but then this is the landing where I fought Rick James. What? Oh, I felt like such an asshole. Like all of a sudden I'm like, oh dude, nothing, forget I even said it. Terrible. Like now I think I'm important. I don't think I'm important, or like I thought sharing it would be important to him. Terrible, stupid. So sure enough, so we go upstairs. And the foundation room is a zoo. The hallway is packed with people, and we're waiting. And then there's these two publicists, and they're texting, and they're talking to Joe, and I'm waiting to see what's going to happen. And I'm just trying to stay small. You know what I mean? I don't want to be that guy who's trying to get into a band's room because I worked there. I recognize that it was terrible. So we're waiting, and it's taking a while because again, the band is seeing whoever they're seeing. Their real friends are there. You know what I mean? They don't want fat podcaster to burst in and go, "Hey, you guys got any free soda?" I mean, it's terrible. So I'm waiting out in the hallway, and Joe's there. And then Joe's he brought his friend Linda. She was there, and she was going to take pictures, and she wanted to see the band. And Karen is there, and then Karen disappears to go smoke. And it takes about 10 minutes. We're in the hallway. And then finally security's just like, look, if you do not have a purple wristband, you need to go, right? And he starts clearing the hallway. And he looks right at me, and he goes, you got a wristband? And I go, no. And he goes, you need to take off. I go, no problem. And I said, I went to get Karen. I go, Karen, we got to go. I go, Joe, it's okay. I go, they're telling me I got to split. And he goes, no, the band wants you here. And I go, I understand, but I don't have the thing. And then the security guy looks at Joe, and he goes, oh, he's with you? And Joe goes, yeah. And they go, he goes, oh, you're fine. I'm like, what? Okay. Again, weird, because again, when I worked there, fuck it. We didn't want anybody in the hallway. This time, there's the security guy's talking to people outside. He's like got friends out there, and there's 1,000 people in the hallway. It's like, what happened here? Everything fucking changed. I was there. Linda Perry had to jump through hoops. The Booyah Tribe, Snoop Dogg, all these people are like, they had to ask 4 different people if they could come in. There was like a secret knock. So I'm waiting. We're waiting. And then finally we get to go in and into the thing, and Joe goes right to the back. I'm standing by the door. I mean, because there's a bunch of people in the dressing room, and I'm not going to insinuate myself into these guys' life. It was their night. What the fuck am I doing? I'm a fan. They don't want a fan hanging around. And I'm by the door and I'm waiting, and sure enough, Joe goes over, and I hear Jesse. He goes, "Where's Mike?" And Joe is like, he goes, I brought a friend, and he points, and I'm over there, and I see him, and I look up, and I go, hey. And they could not, they acted like I was their best friend. I mean, it's like, and again, because they do that with everybody. That's their thing. You know what I mean? They are so happy to see everyone that it's impossible not to feel special around those guys. I mean, even though they treat everybody with that same gregariousness, it's impossible to not feel like you're part of it. Even if you go, well, fuck, they treat everybody like that. Well, yeah, but they treat everybody well. You know what I mean? So you should feel good about it. And I just felt so welcomed, and I was like, hey, and he immediately goes, you got to meet Christine. And I meet Christine and Stacy, girlfriends' wives, everybody. Chuck's there. Band. Yeah. Well, that's the thing is it was such a blur. Well, I don't remember who was a girlfriend and who was a wife. That's why I'm trying to say it. You busted me, because seriously, I don't know who was a girlfriend and who was a wife, if they were girlfriends or wives. I just remember names. So I remember I met Christine and I met Stacy, and I saw Chuck. and the drummers, everybody's there, and then they're trying to get together for pictures. They wanted to take pictures, and they're like, "Oh, we got to take pictures. This is going to be awesome." And they could not have been more friendly or nice. And I introduced him to Karen. Jesse hugs Karen. "Oh, we got to go for sushi. It's so nice to meet you." He introduces the wives and the girlfriends and everybody. And it could have been that. I don't know. I'll get to that in a second. I'm sure yeah. But it's rock and roll. So we're taking pictures with them, and they insisted on pictures. They insisted, and it was in a dark dressing room, and the cameras kept like misfiring, and everybody's looking at the cameras. And finally, I go, there's a bathroom in between the two dressing rooms, and I go, "Why don't we take pictures in the bathroom?" I go, "There's light in the bathroom." And the two women, like these publicist chicks, are like, "Well, I don't know, whatever. This camera's not firing, it's not flashing." And I go, "There's light in the bathroom. Let's go in the bathroom." So Jesse, sure enough, he goes, "Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it." He's like, "Great, that's great." And he grabs everybody and he goes, "Let's go in there." He goes, "Where's Johnny?" We lost the bass player. We're losing all these people. And then we get into the bathroom, and then he's like, "Hold on a second. Hold on." And he goes over and he comes back with hats because he's got all these different cowboy hats. He puts one on me, puts one on Joe. He's wearing one. And it's and he wants to take a hat picture. He's like, "Let's go." And we all take a goddamn these hat pictures in the bathroom. And I'm like, he could not have been nicer. So they're so happy. And he pulls me aside, Jesse, and he's like, "Look, you're a fan. I need to know what you thought of the show." He's real friendly and nice and I wasn't bothering them at all. I mean, again, I thought I was. I don't want to be that person, and so then we're taking the pictures, and then Jesse pulls me aside and he wants to talk to me. So we wound up talking for like 5 minutes, 10 minutes, I don't know. And Karen's there, and she's being nice, and she tells me later, some guy. She goes, "Who was?" She explains him. He looked like a cross between Charlie Sexton and somebody else. I go, "I don't know." She goes, "Well, he backed right into my boobs." And I go, "Really?" She goes, "Yeah." And then he turned around and he said, he goes, "Whoa!" And he said, "Oh well, if I'm going to back up, I want to back up into nice boobs." He said that to my wife. I go, "Well, why didn't you tell me that so I could punch him in the rib cage and pull his fucking heart out?" And she's like, "Oh, Michael, he didn't mean anything by it. It was fun, it was fun." And I'm like, I go, "Well, yeah, it's a rock star. Rock stars do that. They don't care if there's tits around. They're going to talk about them." So Jesse's talking to me, and then I said goodbyes, and again he wanted to make plans to go out and do stuff, and they want to do the show again when they come back from from Europe. And I'm like, "Great." He even said, he goes, "I don't want to tell you how to do your show. I don't want to invite ourselves on." And I go, "Dude, you're welcome anytime you want to do it. Especially now that I'm in your dressing room and I'm a rock star. I've met the wives and girlfriends. I'm in the inner circle." "No, I'm not. I'm an idiot. I happen. You know what I did? I happened to fool everybody for one more night. That's all I did." So we wound up leaving, and it was a shame. I will say this: I wound up talking to them, and it was really fun seeing them. And Chuck went off, and he did that, and Jesse was really nice. And then Karen and I went to leave, and Joe was gone, like Joe Saruman and Linda, and they were the only reason I went upstairs. I wasn't going to go. I wasn't even going to try to go because I didn't want to insinuate myself into the situation. But Joe was like, "No, I've made sure they want you up there." And then when we finished, Joe was gone, and I was like, I didn't even get a chance to thank this guy, man. I mean, because it made me very happy. I mean, I really, really enjoyed it because it was very. I don't get to do that a lot, and to know that they still listen to the show, like, as they mentioned stuff from the show again, and even Christine was just, his wife was just, wife or girlfriend, I don't remember, but she met Karen and she goes, "Oh, are you the one laughing the whole time during the show?" And I said, "No." I said, "That's my producer who couldn't come tonight." I said, and Karen goes, "I laugh at home." And then she laughed, and stuff. So, but it was great. It was great meeting them, and I was disappointed. And then then Joe sent me the photos, and I actually put one of them on Facebook. You guys might have seen it. If you haven't seen it, go to the Facebook page and check out. You'll see the picture of me with Rock Sugar and Joe Saruman's in there as well. He looks like a rock star too. Who he looks like? He looks like Alex Rocco. Like, because I said it to Karen. He's Mo Green in The Godfather. Got shot in the eye. He looked like a younger version of him to me, which was funny. And I felt bad for him trying to make awkward small talk with me. He has no idea who I am because, by the way, he knows me more than I know him because he knows me from the show. But at the same time, he's in his element. He's at a fucking rock show and he's upstairs because he knows the people who run the House of Blues and all these. And he's like naming names and dropping this and getting us in doorways. And I'm just some schlub. You know what I mean? Who's just like, whatever. I don't know what's happening. Anybody? I used to work here. I mean, I might have a check here. And then, I tell you this, as we're leaving, We're up by the foundation room, and they're cleaning out the plates and the food and stuff like that. A busboy comes out, and he's pushing a cart. He worked there when I worked there. Wow. And the reason I remember him is because he smuggled me a Chilean sea bass one night. When I finished work, and it was really late, and he comes up to me, and he goes, hey, and he was a little Hispanic guy, older man, and he goes, are you hungry? And I said, yeah, and he goes, do you want a dinner? And I was leaving, and I was like, yeah, I'll take that. And it was fucking Chilean sea bass with like plantains, and it was a crazy dinner. And he put it in a to-go thing for me and handed it to me, and he goes, go ahead. And I went home and I ate it, and it was the blandest piece of fish I've ever eaten in my life. Because I was like, because stupid, again, this is fat me, and I'm like, Chilean sea bass, what does that even taste like? And I tasted it, I go, oh, it's bland. So I made it into a big fish sandwich. Like I fucking, you know what I did? I took it, I split it open, I put mashed potatoes and gravy in the middle of it, and I went ahead and ate it. That always makes a sandwich better, folks. Scrape out the middle, mashed potatoes and gravy right in the center of it. That'll do it. But I saw him there, and I couldn't believe it. I recognized him. He doesn't recognize me because he works with 1 billion people a night. But also I get this tinge of sadness, like, 12 years later, and you're still here slinging hash upstairs at the foundation room. But maybe they take care of him. I had no idea. Maybe Aykroyd, throws him a Ghostbuster cash. I don't know how they handle it. I don't know. I'm not sure how it works over there. What if he did? What if he's just literally he made so much money from the Ghostbusters franchise? That's how he pays the employees at the House of Blues. He's like Leno. He doesn't touch his House of Blues money or his Nothing But Trouble money, which is I'm sure he's got a ton of that laying around. He doesn't touch his Driving Miss Daisy money. He lives off his Ghostbusters residuals. All right, they're supposed to be doing a new one of those, I heard. Because they had all these different plans. It's so funny when you look back and you hear the incarnations of the plans, like where they wanted Eddie Murphy to be a Ghostbuster, and then they were going to do the new version of the Ghostbusters with like Chris Farley and those guys. And I mean, it's just this weird. It looks like it's like the movie making version of swinging at a piñata. Like they keep. The piñata is Ghostbusters 3, and they've blindfolded themselves, and they're swinging a stick, waiting to crack it open and look for all the sweet money inside. But it's not going to happen with all these fucking ideas they have. Although the new one now is supposedly Bill Murray is on board, because that was the whole thing, is they could never get Bill Murray back. Well, now he's back because he's going to be dead. He's going to die in it, and he'll be a ghost in Ghostbusters 3. Which I thought was awesome, if that's true. Unless he does some weird like cameo where he's only in like for 5 seconds, which movies need to stop doing that with their trickery, all right? Because there's a movie called The Expendables with starring Sylvester Stallone and Randy Couture and Jason Statham and all these different people. Well, there's one scene in the movie that I read about, and I was like so excited when I heard that it was going to be in the movie. Unfortunately, they've made it the focal point of the trailer. I don't want to say what it is if you haven't seen it. I don't want to give it away, but I'm sure you'll Google the trailer and find it anyway. I said Goatsy, and people go look it up. Already people know who Donnie the Punk is because of one vague story I told about somebody getting raped. Huh? Because of me. Everybody knows what's happening. All right. It's funny. So whatever. The bottom line is, they trick you with movies. Okay. All right. I gotta stop talking. My herpes hurts. This is bad. I had a bad week, folks. Although you wouldn't know it from this show. I never got to it. I never got to the bad week. Rock Sugar was great. It was fantastic. I had a bad week. Which I'll get to in a second. But I can't anymore. I don't have any seconds left, for Christ's sake. I can't. All right, look, suffice it to say, you heard all the good stuff of the week, except for the herpes and the Lost. Well, some of it was good, some of it was bad, some of it was indifferent, some of it was, we laughed, we cried. That's how it worked, folks, with this show. Sometimes there's no agenda. I don't know what the hell's going to happen, and then it turns out because I really thought I was going to get to the fact that I had a bad week, and wound up glossing over because Rock Sugar was so relentless. You know what? Fuck that. I can't talk about bad weeks because I saw Rock Sugar again, and their relentless positivity has jolted inside of me like heroin, and until it wears off, I can't talk about my bad week. So there you go. Exactly. I'm mainlining Jesse Harnell. I went ahead and shot him right in, and instead of nodding off like with heroin, instead you're just wide-eyed and want to shake everybody's hand and call them all bro. Dude, hey, dude. And I save his texts and I look at him and I'm like, oh, this singer likes me. Oh, it's so bad. Because I want to be like, oh, I'm their peer and they're good and they were on my show and I enjoyed them. But then part of me is like, yay, he's so cool. So I did have a bad week, but I'll get to that. I'll get to that in a second. No, I won't. I'll get to it another time. Folks, you can get me at mike@MikeSchmidtComedy.com. You guys can get me at Facebook.com/the40-year-old-boy. You can follow me at Twitter.com/the40-year-old-boy. Do not forget to follow our friend Lily on Twitter at Twitter.com/LilyVonStupp. You can follow Twitter.com/MNTees for all the info she's got about the Monday Night Teas. And if you want to send her a personal email and you want to talk to her about why she couldn't join me on Monday, and how sad it was for all of us. If you want to ask her if she's the laughing one, if she's the one who does all the laughing during the show, go ahead and write her at Lily at burlesque411.com. That's Lily, Lili, at burlesque411.com.
Hey, all you fans of the 40-year-old boy. Mike's got new stuff to sell you. Stuff he hopes you'll enjoy. Just what's for sale. Of course we do not know. All we can tell you
Is where you should go.
Zazzle.com, 40-year-old boy. Zazzle.com, 40-year-old boy. Zazzle.com, 40-year-old boy. Zazzle.com.
Is your business you?
What kind of stuff's for sale? We already told you we don't know. 'Cause Mike made us record this song way back in February. So we can only speculate just what Mike will try to sell you. Maybe his face on a tambourine, or his own line of gardening equipment. Zazzle.com, 40-year-old boy. Zazzle.com, 40-year-old boy. Zazzle.com, 40-year-old boy. Zazzle.com.
Maybe his own line of high chairs.
Zazzle.com.
His face on your personal massager.
Zazzle.com.
Want to remind you folks about the Monday Night Teas every Monday night at the 3 clubs on Santa Monica and Vine. Hey, Lily.
Hey, Woody.
Hey, who's going to be at the crazy Monday Night Teas this week?
Oh my God. Anita Cookie, Clams Casino, Darlinda, just Darlinda.
Wait a minute. No, don't even. Stop. Clams Casino.
Yes,
That's fucking brilliant.
you will love her.
That's top 5 burlesque names of all time. Clams Casino. It should be just Clam Casino, quite frankly. I mean, I understand why it isn't, but it should just be Clams Casino. Oh, God. Dude. Should be Clam Casino, I should say. All right. So Darlinda.
Darlinda, just Darlinda.
But is that her name, Darlinda, just Darlinda?
Yes.
For real?
Yeah, is that awesome?
Oh, good Lord. All right. And who else?
Minnie Tonka, and I'm forgetting Gigi LaFemme.
Gigi LaFemme.
Oh my
All right.
God.
So,
5 New Yorkers, all award winners, amazing performers, hot bodies. Oh my Christ.
listen, 10 great tits, 5 horrible accents this week.
And Lex LaCroix.
And Lex Lacroix will be
Yes,
there.
that
And
one's
she does
with
not have a
Laura.
horrible
I'm
accent.
hosting. It's
Yeah.
going to be great.
All right. Well, good. Oh, and you're hosting.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
we
good.
got duets. We got group numbers. We
All
got
right.
tits galore.
Is Tits, is she going to be there?
No, we have tits galore.
Okay. Okay, well, good. So, guys, go to the Monday Night Teas. If you can follow along at twitter.com/MNTees. Will there be a code word this week?
There is not, because I'm paying a fortune for all of these out of
Have we just abandoned the code word idea?
No, it's just really tough because, I mean, last week I had 17 people in my cast.
Okay.
This week I have 5 out-of-towners that I got to pay and put up
Right.
on my couch.
Right.
Next
Now,
week I have 3 girls from Finland and 2 from Scotland.
and is
I mean,
the is the Burlesque 411 podcast still rocking? Can
It
people go
is.
listen to
It
that?
is.
All
It
right,
is.
so
In
go
fact,
listen to
we're
the Burlesque
recording with all
411 podcast. All the links are available at MikeSchmidtComedy.com. If you go through my go to the Lillian Mex page and go to Lily and click through on those links and find her. And there's Max. David Hernandez is there, and go be Dave's friend on Facebook. You can find that on the MikeSchmidtComedy.com page. Let's talk about MikeSchmidtComedy.com for just a second. I want to tell you guys, thank you so much for the crazy feedback on the website. Everybody seemed to enjoy it. If you haven't seen it yet, go check it out. And I will be updating a lot over there. I promise I haven't because I'm very tied up in writing something. I had a bad week. I don't know if I remember. I mentioned that, folks. Yeah, so I didn't get to it. I didn't even get to talk about it. But I can tell you, MikeSchmidtComedy.com is I want you to go there. I want you to visit it and see it. All the feedback was universally great. I appreciate it. I have not answered a lot of emails because I answered the first wave of like 80 emails, and then I got a ton more emails from people, and I will cover this now. I am not a bunko artist. Okay, I am not a scammer. I am not a shell game purveyor. I am not somebody who says who does a bait and switch. I offered the year 1 and year 2 download sets for sale I mentioned them last week, but I also mentioned they would not be available until this week. And they should be available Saturday of this week, because this comes out Thursday. It looks like they'll be available Saturday morning. So what I need to tell you, though, is I have not written back, because I've sold some. Okay, some people have purchased the download sets, and I never contacted them. I never said anything. So it looks like I just took their money and I fucking bailed. That's because, again, some people, I forget, not everybody's hanging on my every word, okay? And they're not listening to the show right away. So I always think people are going to listen to the show right when it comes out, but a lot of people don't. Because I'm still getting people who write me, they're like, dude, don't try Domino's Pizza. And I'm like, okay. And there are still people casting votes for the one-man show. A lot of people are still casting votes for the title of the one-man show, which is great. I will record your vote. The decision's been made, but thank you. So I need to remember that people don't listen last week when I said that the sets weren't available. So people go out, they see the site, they buy the set, and then they write me and they go, dude, I haven't received any instructions. I don't know what's going on. So it looks like I just took their money and I split. So the bottom line is the deliveries on those should start this, I will say Saturday. Hoping Friday, we'll say Saturday for sure, because if they're not by Saturday, then I am a bunko artist, quite frankly. But the sites will be there. And also people who donated. I can't thank you enough. Everybody who sent donations in. And I have not written to thank people. I will personally write you to thank you for what you've done and what you've contributed. Just know that like I said, I got caught in the first wave of emails of people with the feedback on the site. I'm also still trying to get my mailing list together, because last week, people who are on my mailing list may have noticed they did not receive an email announcing anything, because there was a problem with the mailing list, and then my web guy, Kirk, Oregon Kirk, wound up going on vacation. So that should be all squared away. So there should be an email blast that goes out tonight to tell people what's going on. But I can't thank you enough for all the donations that have come in and for the purchases. And keep doing it, please. Any donations you want to send are great. Again, that's thank you for supporting the show. We appreciate it. And if you want to buy the year 1, the year 2 download sets, don't forget to do that. You can buy the Super Angry Guy Gene Happy Good Time Yelling combo, which is both sets. I'm going to regret naming it that, because I have to call it that every single time. Don't forget get to go to the Zazzle store. If you go to the MikeSchmidtComedy.com and go to the Joe Business page, you'll be able to click through to the Zazzle store, and you can get a mug, a mouse pad, go get a Stripple shirt, and we have some other ideas for stuff down the line. Who knows what's going to happen there. Make sure you go to the Westside 86 Jokers page, which is the fan club page at Facebook. Thank you very much. Go to the Westside 86 Jokers page. Also, remember, I'm coming to San Francisco August 20th and 21st with The 40-Year-Old Boy. Success is not an option. Tickets, I don't think are on sale just yet, because I have to write the text for the ticket page. But again, folks, it's been a bad week. I got caught up in a bunch of other stuff. And so once I get that, and I get that to my friend Bucky, he can go ahead and put that, and then we'll unleash the tickets for sale for everybody. But that'll be August 20th and 21st. The shows are 10 o'clock in San Francisco, and that'll always be on my Facebook page, so you can see that. I want to tell you guys that this coming Friday, which is the 28th, I will be at Meltdown Comics at 11 o'clock p.m. for Jordan Jesse Go. They're doing their 8-hour... I think it's the Max Fun Telethon, where they're getting donations and keeping people involved. I'm not sure exactly how it works. All I know is I'm on from 11 to 11:30, I think. So it's $5 at Meltdown Comics down on Sunset. So go to that on the 28th, May 28th. I'm spending a lot of time at Meltdown Comics, because I will be there also June 5th for the Battleship Retention show. That's a live show. I will be doing stand-up as well as paneling. I think with Jordan Jesse, I'm just paneling. But at Battleship Retention, I'll be doing stand-up and I'll be paneling as well. I want to tell you guys at 5/27, which I have written here, which is tomorrow. Or today, actually, when you're hearing this. Thursday night, I'll be at the Hollywood Billiards doing comedy. I did it a couple weeks ago. I talked about it, and they asked me if I would come back again real quick. So I need to get on stage as much as I can. So I said, yes, of course. So that's tonight. Tomorrow night. Thursday the 27th. Whenever you're hearing this, I don't know when you're hearing it, but Thursday the 27th at Hollywood Billiards on Hollywood Boulevard. The show's at 9 o'clock. I don't think they're charging any admission there. Battleship Retention's $5. Jordan Jesse Go's $5. And here's something unique and interesting, folks. June 2nd, which is next Wednesday, I will be doing a comedy show at Titmouse Animation Studios.
Woohoo!
That's right. And I'm not sure how it works. I'm showing up and doing stand-up. And the gimmick of the show is there are animators who will be animating along with my act. So there will be an overhead projector, and they will be basically creating an animation of what I talk about during my act. And it's funny. I'm actually thinking of flying Mex in for it, so Mex can go ahead and just do it. But I'm not sure how those guys will feel about it. But yeah, it'll be posted on my Facebook page. all the information. I think that's also $5 to get into. That is next Wednesday at 8 o'clock at Titmouse Animation Studios. The address and stuff will be up on Facebook. But I will be doing stand-up. There's 6 other stand-ups, some short cartoons, films. And then as the stand-ups do their act, a guy will be animating the show behind them on an overhead projector. So I don't know how it's going to work. I can't wait to see this guy try to keep up with my mouth. Hopefully he can pull it off, and it'll all work out for everybody. It could just be a train wreck. I might just have him draw like a seismograph, like literally just up and down, so he can kind of keep track of the voice. So yeah, that's Battleship Attention, Jordan Jesse Go. All these dates and stuff will be on my Facebook page. So guys, and I'll include it in the email blast tonight when I send out the mailing list. What I want to talk about now is I have a special thank you to say to some people. Casey and Leanna, I don't want to say last names. I'm not sure if these people want their last names used, but they are members of the Westside 86 Jokers fan club page, and they decided to buy something for me. And that alone is nice. But then they had to go through all this cloak and dagger to try to get it to me without me knowing about it, because they know of my love of surprises. And they had to enlist an evil henchwoman in the persona of a Lily Von Stupp. So they actually had to get Lily's home address and have it shipped to her because they couldn't ship it to the Throw Punch Media P.O. Box. And especially since I'm not really welcome at the post office anymore, they wanted to make sure I would be able to get this thing. They went ahead and I a few, many episodes ago, I don't remember when exactly, I promoted and mentioned there was an artist named Ibrahim Yusuf, and he had done alternate movie posters for all the Quentin Tarantino films. And the one that drove me crazy was the one for Kill Bill, because it was just so amazing. It was a bunch of black dots surrounding one yellow dot, which indicated Uma in the House of Blue Leaves and the Crazy 88 attack. And I got goosebumps when I saw it because it was so understated and cool, but yet you knew exactly what it was. Well, Leanna and Casey bought me the poster. And I was amazed by it. I mean, that's just above and beyond ridiculousness. I don't know why. I mean, that's nice. Thank you. And it's funny. Lily filmed me opening it. She gave it to me, and she filmed me on the street opening this package. And I don't know what kind of reaction I gave because I was just so amazed when I opened up and I saw it. You know what? I had probably the general reaction that I usually have whenever I get a gift. I just go, "Oh, this is ridiculous. You didn't need to do this. Take this back." Because I cannot possibly accept anything graciously. And I tried to, I was just, because I'm so stunned, because I feel like I should do something for them now, because they did that for me. It's just, it's so nice and so above and beyond. And then Casey included a note to me, and he explained why he did it. And basically he said, like I tell you, I feel like I should do something for them now. Well, they did that for me because they had that feeling about this show. They felt that this show had done stuff for them, had provided them with something, and they wanted to give back. And so they went ahead and gave me that poster, which is ridiculous. Yeah. And it was so nice. And Lily taped it. She's like, "Hey, I'll put the video up on Facebook of you opening it." I'm like, I don't know if I reacted the way they'd want me to react, because I was kind of like, "Oh no, take this back." You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if I was that crazy about it, but it's almost embarrassing to get that kind of a gift, because I know what it cost, and I know what you had to go through to get it to me, and I can't stress enough how happy it made me and how excited I was to get it, and I can't wait to frame it. It'll go up on the wall with my huge Mr. Blonde poster once I get an office. An office, when I get a garage, I don't care. I might put it on the back of my fucking car. It's so amazing. But I want to thank Leanna and Casey, because that was really above and beyond. It's not something you had to do, and I really appreciate you guys doing that. So, guys, if you want to send donations, that's great. You guys want to buy me posters, by all means, buy me posters. No, why would I cheapen it with this nonsense? I've had a bad week, folks. I'm sorry. My head is it's all screwed up. So, all right. So thank you, everybody, for the donations. I will get to you. I will write to you. I promise I will contact you. And the links for the sites should be sent to you by this weekend, I would imagine Saturday. And then that'll be squared away, and then we can all move forward with our lives, and everything will be fine. I went to Lily and I are going to dinner now because I'm alone. My wife is out gallivanting with friends, and it's funny. I had lunch the other day without her. I went to that Dan Subs that I talked about with the Fakin on their Dan's Club Sub, and it's down by Karen's work. So I called Karen to see if she wanted me to pick her up a sandwich and run it over to her office. And she's like, oh, no, you're going to Dan Subs? I said, yeah. She goes, oh, do you know the secret word today? Because they Twitter a secret word. You know, a lot of businesses out here, I don't know if anywhere else, but in Los Angeles, Sprinkles and all these different businesses, they'll Twitter a word, and if you go to the counter and say that word, you'll get a free Coke, or you'll get an upgrade on a sandwich, a combo, whatever. So she goes, did you get the secret word? Because I don't follow them on Twitter. She does. And I go, no. And she goes, the secret word is sucker. If you go to the counter, say sucker, and then they'll upgrade your sandwich. And I said, oh, okay. Do you want me to get you a sandwich? She's like, nah, I already ate lunch. I said, okay, cool. So I went and I met some friends there for lunch. I went Pat and Siegel and my buddy Chip. And they left, and then I went in to get my sandwich. I walk up to the counter, and I got a Dan's Club sub. And she goes, all right, anything else? And I go, no, that's to go. Sucker. And she looks at me, the woman behind the counter, and says, pardon me? I said, no, I just need the club sub. That's all I need to go. I wasn't going to order a combo, but I will tell you this, sucker. And she looks at me and goes, I don't know what that means. And I said, well, it gets the upgrade on a sandwich. It gets me a combo like with chips and a drink. She goes, no, it doesn't. And I said, oh, okay. Don't you guys Twitter a word? And she goes, not that word. So I said, all right. And I said, I don't want a combo. I just wanted my sandwich. And I get the sandwich. I get out to my car. And I call Karen at her office. And she goes, hello. And I said, hey, I think you gave me the wrong word for Dan Subs. All I hear is laughing. She just can't. She's laughing her ass off. And I go, wait a minute. I go, you did that on purpose, didn't you? Because I'm slow. Folks, I'm a little slow in the uptake. It's been a bad week. And I go, you did that on purpose, didn't you? And she goes, did you really go up there and say sucker? And I go, yeah. I ordered the sandwich, leaned forward like I had something elaborately important to say, and I went, sucker. Like, and with a smirk on my face. And Karen's like, I can almost hear her hitting her desk. And then she puts the phone down. She goes, he said it! And I hear, like, women in her office start laughing. Like Val and all these other, Erica, the other girls that she sits there with in the quad, they just start cracking up. She goes, I can't believe you said sucker. And did you really say it? And they're howling at this fucking office. I'm their entertainment. Now they can't stop laughing at me. And what do you do at that point? You just fucking laugh, because I cannot believe my wife tricked me into saying sucker at a fucking sandwich shop. Are you kidding me? And you should have seen my face. I was all proud of myself, thinking I'm getting free Sun Chips and a goddamn Coke. I lean forward, sucker. I don't know what that means. Well, I don't want a combo. I just want a sandwich. And have I mentioned sucker? Yeah, I don't know what that means. Oh, seriously? How does my wife do that? I didn't even eat. I tell you what, it was hard for me to enjoy the sandwich because it was hard to chew with the fish hook in my mouth. And actually, the fish hook might have been what gave me herpes. It tore the corner of my mouth when the fish hook went in there, and I got reeled in on saying sucker to somebody behind the counter at a goddamn sandwich shop. Are you kidding me? Who pulls that off? Why do I spit out this random bullshit that nobody fucking cares about? I am peddling obscenity. I am going to get a whole fucking army of you people, and you know what we're going to do? We're going to listen to me and then do nothing for an entire fucking week. I can't be trusted. Don't you people know this? It was like the Back to the Future of suck. I don't want to have a boner in somebody else's pants. I need to shoot up heroin and jog. Hey, ass fuck, are you listening to anything that I'm saying to you? Fuck, somebody's got to shut that old guy up. And I'm like, fuck you! I'm not a potato! I'm a goddamn cantaloupe! Hi, Mike. Hi, Mike. Hi, Mike. Hi, Mike. Hi, Mike. Hi, Mike. Hi, Mike.